Good morning, YouTube. I want to do a quick knife review. Not these two knives. I mean, you've probably seen it before. That's a Mora knife on the left and my U.S. Army, or excuse me, my U.S. Air Force survival knife on the right. No, I'm talking about this knife. That's the Buck 110. I got this knife about a month ago, and I've been using it constantly, every day, ever since. And I've had one before, about 20 years ago, that I actually found somewheres, and I used that for a while, and I actually lost it myself. And I remember they're one of the best built knives I think you can get. A little backstory on the Buck 110. Buck knives first started making those in 1964, and they have a 3 3/4 inch blade. Before 1981, the blades were 440C stainless. From 81 to 92, they were 425M, and since 1993, they're 420HC. And the Buck knife, when you hear people even say, "Gee, you know, what kind of knife is that?" You hear people say, "Well, you know, it's a Buck knife," even if it isn't a Buck knife. And this thing is built, man. This thing is a little more than 7 ounces. And like I said, you can see it's been used. I clean it, but it's been used over the last month. And I've cleaned fish with it. I've even tried filleting a couple of fish with it. It actually doesn't do bad filleting fish. It's not what it's meant for, but in a pinch. I've carried it everywhere. And normally you see them online on Buck's website for about $80. Don't necessarily think that's what you have to pay for them. Shop around. I went to 4 different places and I looked at the same knife. And I bought this one at Walmart. I'm usually not a fan of buying stuff at Walmart. And some people say, well, you know, the Walmart knives are cheaper quality. No, they're not. I looked and handled every knife. All 4 of them are exactly the same. They feel the same. They weigh the same. They look the same. I got this knife at Walmart for $28. And it came with, instead of a leather sheath, it came with that sheath. And people go, well, gee, you know, that's where the difference is the sheath. Not really. If you go on Buck's website, you can buy sheaths. That nylon sheath is $13. The leather sheath is $15. So if they're saving money somewhere, it's really not with the sheath. And I'll tell you right now, everybody's like, well, I'd rather have a leather sheath. I cannot complain about that sheath. That sheath has held up on everything I've used it for so far. It's not tearing, it's not coming apart, it's not fraying. Only thing is a little bit of wear on the button. Other than that, I could care less about that. Other than that, it has not given me a problem. Now, back to the difference in prices. Walmart, $28. I went to one gun shop, it was $49. Another gun shop was $59. And the last gun shop I went to was $69. That's a pretty big price difference. Normally I do like buying my stuff and I've also seen it on eBay for $39 from a couple of different wholesalers. Normally I like to buy my stuff from places other than Walmart, but in this case the price discrepancy was just too great. So I picked it up at Walmart, and I mean, this thing, I've used it, I've cut rope. I can't tell you all the stuff I've done with it over the past month. And the good thing is these have a warranty. They call them a forever warranty. You can send this back to Buck. They'll either fix it or replace it or will do whatever. They've got a phenomenal warranty. And it's American made. It's an American made knife. Some people are after saying, well, Jill, it's a big knife. It's a heavy knife. I don't want to carry something that big. I put this in the sheath. You don't even know you got it on. You don't even know you're carrying it. It's that nice. You know, is it a lot to carry in a pocket? Yeah, it probably is. But, you know, and it locks up so nice. This does not move. That you can even see looking at it. Look, there's no gaps here. There's no gaps at all. I mean, the lockup is so. Look at the fitting on that. Look how beautiful that is and how well fitted this knife is. And again, I mean, I have seen imitations of these. There are imitations you have to watch. Sometimes it says Buck knife on it. It will be a Chinese copy. And the biggest way to tell is the quality. There's no gaps here. There's nothing that's raised. This is all blended perfectly. You can just very lightly with your thumb feel that there is a difference here. That's it. That's all you can feel. It's the quality. Again, $28 I got this for. And even if you do pay $39 for it, it's an American-made knife. A lot of these folding knives now are junk. They're cheap. And you're like, well, gee, I want a leather sheath for it. Okay, I got this leather sheath at a gun show for $5. Okay, fits in there perfectly. You don't necessarily have to buy the buck sheath, because you hear a lot of people complaining. The one drawback to this is where they seem to have scrimped a little is on the leather sheath. Again, I've got no problem with the nylon. People are saying, well, gee, it's not a good everyday carry knife. It's not a great knife for, it's not a good one-handed knife. There is, you can turn it into a folding knife where I've seen the videos where you can put a lock in this and make this an assisted folder, or a spring-loaded folder. It's not what it's designed for. This is not a knife that's designed for that. And believe me, I can get that open one-handed with a little assistance. It's not the greatest in the world, and you've got to be careful with that blade, because this blade is razor sharp. You will cut yourself if you were fooling around with it. This knife has got an edge on it like you wouldn't believe. You hear some people say, well, it's not really a survival knife. Yes and no, if you recognize the limits of the knife. A lot of people take a knife and they ask way too much of it. This knife, I mean, if this was what I had, yeah, you could get by with this. Maybe not as great as a fixed blade, but this would be the one knife I would say is a folding knife that, you know, with this lock work, with its setup, you could get by. So with that being said, YouTube, I encourage everyone to go out. If you're looking for a good knife for hunting season that will pretty much do everything you want to do, and I would dare say a decent survival knife, not per se, but on a budget, then I would highly recommend the Buck 110. Look around, shop around before you go out and just say, well, this is the cheapest I can get this knife. And like I said, I went to 4 different gun shops. I handled every single buck knife they had, the Buck 110 they had that was like this. They are all the same. Don't think for a second that the Walmart is a cheaper knife. It's a quality. The only difference I've seen is this sheath. The warranty is the same. The knife is the same. The company is the same. They're all made here in the U.S. So that being said, YouTube, have a good day.